Your intrepid group of adventurers found the dome mid-afternoon on a lovely day. It was nestled amongst some trees, and it was itself well camouflaged by the natural environment. Vines covered part of it. There was no way to deny that it was a created object, man-made, if you will. It was a dome about 20 meters in diameter, about 10 meters high, so a half sphere. And even from a distance, you could see that it was pierced by portals. You don't really say doors, because they were just holes in the side, and they didn't come all the way to the ground. There was a meter lip between the ground and the bottom of each of these circular openings that let you look inside, because the dome was hollow. Each opening was about 3 meters in diameter. And you could see through the natural light from a distance that it was definitely hollow. As you grew closer, you could actually see inside more clearly, and you could see that the only object that seemed to be in there was a stone pillar, about 1.5 meters high, 1 meter in diameter. It was flat on top. It was a circular pillar. And you couldn't really see much else from the outside. But you did notice that that pillar was the only thing on the inside. There are vines growing on this. No vines grew into the openings. They stopped at the edge. There was no debris inside, no leaves, no grass, no nothing that the wind carried in. There were no birds inside. It was completely, absolutely clean. When you got up close to it, you could see that the texture definitely looked and felt like granite. There were no seams. It appeared almost as though someone had found a giant granite rock, and this carved this out of it. But there were no cracks in it. The possibility of finding a piece of granite that large and having no cracks in it at all is fairly unlikely. But even if you walk all the way around, it's just one seamless, gray, smooth dome of a substance that appears to be granite. So, with nothing else to do, and your scholar, Uva, really eager to get inside, the party goes inside. And as soon as you enter the dome, and nothing prevents you, as soon as your feet hit the floor, suddenly there's light. It's a soft white light. It fills the entire space. And for the life of you, you can't figure out where it's coming from. It seems to be everywhere. But that's all that happens, is just the light. There's no sound, no nothing. And in fact, there's no outside sounds inside the dome. The only sounds are those produced by you and your friends, moving about, talking, what have you. Other than that, nothing. You stick your head outside and you hear the sounds, and you pull your head back in, and as soon as you get inside that dome, it's quiet. Uvo, of course, has made a beeline for the pillar. And if you look at the top of the pillar, you'll notice that there is a flat and there's some things on it. There are 8 gems set in the top of this. Crystals, large, about this big. They themselves are half domes, but you can tell from the facets they are some kind of crystal, looks like quartz. And there are 8 openings. 8 portals. And each of these crystals is in line with one of them. And in the center of the pillar is a depression, a little bowl, probably about yay deep, about yay big around. Nothing in it, no debris, no water, no nothing. It's perfectly dry inside this dome. Uva starts looking at it, pondering it, taking some measurements, poking things, nothing happens. You and your friends take your packs off and relax because you realize that Uva may be at this for a while, and it's a comfortable temperature in here, and again, it's dry, and there's no sound, so it's a great place for a nap, I guess. And you're kind of half dozing, trying to figure out what you're going to be doing while Uva pokes and prods at this thing again. But Uva walks up to Thorngar and says, "Thorngar, give me that gem that you got off the guy in the bar a few days ago. You know, the one you won in the card game." Now, it's a trope, and I realize this, a bit of stereotype. But Thorngar's a dwarf, and he really didn't want to give up that gem. But Uva can be very persistent, and will pretty much not stop bugging you until they get their way. So Thorngar hands the gem. And while it was an attractive gem, and a pretty good size, it wasn't terribly valuable. It was garnet, it wasn't anything else. But it was a semi-precious stone, and it had been well cut. It looked more expensive than it was. Probably going to try to pass it off as something more expensive at one point before they lost it in a card game, Thorngar. And Uva walks up and puts the gem in the little depression. And something happens. All the portals disappear. And suddenly you're sealed inside. And you're a little alarmed at this. You're like, "Uva, what did you do?" And Uva, calm down. Reaches out, grabs the gem, and all the portals come back. Puts the gem in, and all the portals disappear. So now Uva's looking at this. Okay, we've made an effect. We've done something. Now we have all these crystals here that are built into the pillar. So why don't we do this? And they push one. And it glows. It stays glowing. And suddenly, one of the portals comes back. But you're not looking at the outside here. You're looking at a village. A village in a desert, built along the shore of a river. It's a pretty good sized village. Maybe even might make the definition of a small town. And it's full of people. And you don't really think anything of it till you actually walk up to the portal and look at it very carefully. And you realize that while they're hominid, like you and your friends are, they aren't a species that you recognize. Because they're lizards. They even have tails. And you go like this to the portal. And it's smooth on the inside. And you run your hand all the way across it from side to side that you can reach. And it's smooth, like glass. You can't push forward. You can't go through the portal. You're just looking at this village. So Uva goes, and pushes another gem. And suddenly the portal that you were standing in goes to be blank stone. And the same scene pops up in another portal. And Uva does this until it goes all the way around back to where you are. Each time it's the same village, in the same position, the same everything. The angle's the same. You're looking at the same place each time. And Uva looks and stares and goes, "Thorngar, this is a good quality garnet, isn't it?" Thorngar, "Yeah, it is. Why?" "But it's not particularly special." "No, it's not. It's pretty." "I wonder if we put a better quality crystal in there. Maybe one that was properly prepared." I don't know what that means yet. "Could we look in more than one portal? Or does each gem only open one portal? There's 8 portals. There's got to be a reason for 8 portals. If you only got one portal, it'd only be one portal. You wouldn't build more portals than you need, now would you?" You wouldn't need a big room with 8 portals. You need a small room with 1 portal. There's 8 portals for a reason. It's a pretty big depression. What if there's supposed to be a 1 properly tuned gem that goes right in that depression? A crystal lens of some kind. One that lets you open all the portals. One that lets you use them as portals. So here you go. Here is a mysterious location for a game. This could be science fiction, it could be high fantasy, it could be post-apocalyptic, it could be made by aliens. You or your characters could themselves could be visiting some kind of an alien planet and find it there. So there's any number. Thorngard doesn't have to be a dwarf. He could be a heavy G character, very similar appearance, but science fiction. Squats is, I believe, what they called them in Warhammer 40,000K. So the possibilities are endless as far as where you want to put this and how you want to use it. But the dome is the location. And yes, if you have the right kind of gem, it will let you do more than just view them. You'll be able to pass through them. And it's a two-way street. So if you go through that portal, something else can come through into the dome. So the dome can become a nexus. Now, if you know what you're doing, you can keep the portal appearance hidden from the other side. So it's a one-way mirror kind of thing. You can see from the inside, but you can't see it from the outside. If you don't know what you're doing, the opening is present from the outside. So someone that maybe isn't as skilled, but figures out how to get the portal to work, would not be able to hide the appearance, making it more likely that someone from wherever that location is would find their way into this dome. And this was inspired by something I saw physically at work, an object that was somewhat dome-like and had 8 holes in it. And that's where the inspiration for this came from. Just making parts at work, glanced down, saw something on my table, and that looks like a dome with 8 holes in it. What can I do with a dome with 8 holes in it? And here you go. We have the dome. So tell me, how would you use the dome? Is the dome purely for observational purposes, or can you actually travel through it? And if you can, is it part of some network? Domes and domes and domes. For example, each one has a specific lens. Each lens opens itself to 8 locations when it's on. And the other times it is off, it just lets you go in and out of the world that the dome is on. Or can you tune it so that it's 7 locations and then 1 in the world you're in? So that makes egress and exiting, entering and exiting a little more smooth. You don't have to keep turning the thing on and off. So let's talk about the dome and how we would use it. And I hope you don't mind this angle. Again, I have been having some computer problems, though I have noticed, very handy, it's really useful if I want some sports drink to just reach over and open my fridge. So let's talk about the dome and how we would use it.